On today's episode of the Peddler Perspective, our guest is Courtney Lintker Sanhydrich. She's an entrepreneur, a farmer, a real estate agent, and who knows what else we're going to find out. So we welcome you to the Peddler Perspective, and we'll get started. Brenda,
Thanks for having me.
there you go.
All right. So, Courtney, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here working with us. Actually, I think we have the luxury of you working with us. I think that's great. You bring some valuable information to the table. But being a farmer, a woman in ag, number one, how'd you get into it?
So, born and raised on the family's dairy farm. So, I'm third generation now. So, my grandpa started it, and then my dad and kind of took over it. And now me and my brother primarily run it. We do have a younger sister. She's also involved in ag as a farm bureau manager, but doesn't help on the day-to-day with the farm. But yeah, born and raised in it. And I just remember from the time I could walk, I feel like I was always outside feeding calves, chasing calves, riding in the tractor with dad. That was before buddy seats were a thing. So my buddy seat was a 5-gallon bucket that he cut a hole in the side of, put a pillow at the bottom, lined it with some carpet, and bungee strapped it on the side of the tractor.
I think Brenda might have had some of those memories.
Actually, that is true. When you were saying that, I was thinking back to being with my dad and the modifications that we've had. So,
yeah.
So as far as when you went to college and so forth, did you always see your life in ag? Is that something you always just pictured you would be doing?
Actually, no. So I went to college and had, I wouldn't say no interest in ag, but I did not go an ag route when I went to college. Because growing up in a small town, a small school, like pretty much everyone was raised on a farm in your class or knows about agriculture. And so I went to Mizzou. Wanted to go somewhere that was still close to home but far away, and none of my other classmates were going there. So it was going to be kind of a way for me to have to learn how to meet people and communicate and kind of grow on my own. And originally had a plan to be a doctor. So graduated top of my class in high school and thought, well, it's either probably a doctor or a lawyer, and I didn't want to become a lawyer. And I really liked science, so I was like, well, I like anatomy and that type of thing, so we'll try to become a doctor. And about 2 years in, I was like, yeah, this isn't really for me, and really wanted to go back to my ag roots. And probably one of the things that made me really want to go back was a girl I was working with was asking about the farm and cows and stuff, and she told me that she didn't drink milk from my farm. And I said, well, I mean, how do you know that? Like, you don't know exactly where it comes from. You have an idea, but you don't. And this was a 20-year-old college student who literally believed that chocolate milk came from brown cows, and my cows were not brown. So at that point, I was like, I really need to get back to my ag people and my ag roots and start educating, people about agriculture. Because, at Mizzou, not everyone grew up on a farm and knows about agriculture. So it was very eye-opening, that experience was.
And then, so after you got done with and finished your degree, did you come directly back to the farm, or were just any stops in between there?
Yeah, so I did come directly back to the farm. So started helping my dad milk kind of full time, morning and evening. And then I got a degree in nutrition and exercise science. So I did use my degree a little bit. Starting off, I was worked in physical therapy for a while as a physical therapy assistant, while also working on the farm, and then kind of had a couple different jobs after that. That's when I kind of got into real estate through my cousin.
Let's go. We'll get back into the whole real estate thing here in a little bit there. So as far as we're going into that. But the big thing is so whenever you came back to the farm, I mean, did you get involved in your locals or young farmers, anything going on with that, or Farm Bureau or any kind of that stuff? What'd you do there?
Yeah, so not right away. I'd always kind of helped with the Farm Bureau. My dad is on the Washington County Farm Bureau board. So growing up, I was always around events and things that they were doing. But I joined the Young Leaders program probably a year or two after I had been home, I think. And I was involved in that for a couple years now. So, but yeah, I did join the Young Leaders program. But it's kind of what I'd been doing all my life since I'd been by dad's side pretty much. So.
Exactly. So with that bringing you into, so right now, besides what is your normal day on the dairy farm as
Yeah.
this goes through?
So a typical day, we're usually up, try to be milking between 4 and 4:30 in the morning. So I'm up pretty early. Then we'll milk cows. My dad pretty much does the feeding. My brother and I'll milk. My mom will help milk too, and I take care of all the calves, so bottle feeding and bucket feeding the calves. Then once we get done milking, you're washing the milk barn, sanitizing all the lines, and then after that, I normally will go to my job for the day. If I'm not working, then I'm strawing hutches, or if it's
Well, let's
planting
back up a little bit.
season. Yeah,
So this is done. So your normal job starts at 8 o'clock in the
8.
morning.
Yep,
8 o'clock. So you're headed for your normal job at 8 o'clock in the morning.
yep.
So you're going through, you do your normal job throughout the day, get off at what, 4:30, something like that.
Yep.
And then how do you finish out here?
Yeah, so then once I get back from my job, you change clothes real quick and then go back out to the milk barn and then milk cows for the evening. So we milk twice a day on our farm. So milk cows in the evening, and like I said, Dad will feed them again, and my brother and I will milk, and then I take care of all the calves again in the evening. So kind of repeat what I did in the morning, but repeat it in the evening. And usually I'll get inside around 7:30, and then we'll eat supper and have a little time in the evening to hang out or have a little free time, and then back to bed so I can wake up early.
Exactly. And how many cows are you guys milking?
We milk around 80 right now, so.
So I have the beef business side of your business. How many are you keeping there?
Yeah, so it was, I think, gonna be 3 years now. So my brother and I have always talked about starting a direct-to-consumer meat business for a long time. And finally, we're just like, we've talked about this for years. Let's just go ahead and bite the bullet and do it. It was kind of our way of diversifying the farm income. So we're both young farmers wanting to take over. So this was a way for us to kind of diversify the income to hopefully take over the farm one day. So yeah, we sat down with an attorney and formed an LLC and decided to get the ball rolling. And our
What's
first
the
year,
name of the LLC?
Pasture Link Meats LLC is the name of our business. So kind of used our last name, Linker, shortened it up, and so that's kind of where that came from. But our first year, I must say we processed maybe 2 or 3 cows, so not too much, but we've grown a lot over the years. So we got into the Monroe County Farmers Market. So we do that every Saturday. So that takes up my Saturday mornings. And we built a pretty good clientele down there, and then we have an online storefront too. So we're hoping to grow that here a lot more this year. But yeah, we've had really good growth in the last couple of years, and it's always fun to tell people about your farm, and people like to have a connection now these days to know where their meat came from and the face behind it.
Locally owned, locally processed, and that's a huge step there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the difference between buying locally versus buying at the store. I mean, the meat is better. I mean, we hear that again and again. What do you think makes that difference?
I mean, I will say, not all of our meat is sold direct to consumer. Some of our meat does get sold at the store, so I will make that disclosure. But I think it's just the freshness of it too. We'll have our meat processed, and it's all processed locally, like Brad said. I mean, everything we do is right here in the Southern Illinois community. I mean, our meat is grown here from birth to finish. We process it here locally, so everything stays here locally. But we'll pick up our meat on a Friday, and I mean, it's in consumers' hands on Saturdays. So I don't know how much more fresh you can get from that, but just, yeah, the freshness of it, the quality of it. We know what we're feeding our cows. We know what goes into it. So
Yeah.
where when you buy meat at a store, you don't necessarily know where it came from.
Yeah. So all that farm life, do you think it's shaped how you show up every day in business life? Because you're also in the real estate business. You've managed farms. You work with us. You've done different things. Do you think that shows up then in those other areas?
Absolutely. So I don't know what I would be like if I was raised not on a farm. But I think growing up on the farm, I mean, that really, I mean, it teaches you a lot. It teaches you a lot of responsibility, that hard work ethic, time management. I mean, like I said, I was feeding calves from I don't even know how young I was. I know I milked my first cow on my own when I was in second grade. But I mean, Dad would give you calves to take care of, and I mean, if you didn't feed them, I mean, that was your job. You had to make sure that they were fed. So just, yeah, the responsibility and the hard work and the time management and all
Yeah.
huge things that play a role down the road.
So can you walk us through the next part of your life, the real estate part of this? How did you get into to real estate, and who have you worked for in the past there? Because like I said, you've had some different exposures there also.
Yeah, so I actually have a lot of family members who are in real estate, and my cousin was doing property management, and she was looking for someone to just kind of help with paperwork and just office task. So she had reached out to me, and I started kind of working for her part-time, and then part-time turned into full-time, and then managing paperwork turned into writing up leases, and just kind of went up the ladder for her for a while. I worked for her as a maintenance supervisor, so did a lot of maintenance on rental properties and managed 5 maintenance techs while I was there too. And then after that, I knew I liked it, but I knew I still wanted something more ag related, and I stumbled across an ag management company, and I thought, well, this is like 2 things combined that I've done before.
Real estate and
Um,
ag. What a way to
yeah,
go.
I was like, I didn't even know
Well,
this
sounds
really
familiar.
existed. So, reached out to him, and actually the day I reached out was the day he had hired someone. So I didn't hear from him for a while, and then it didn't work out, and he called me back a few months later and asked if I'd still be interested, and I was like, absolutely. So worked for about 3 years in ag management, so doing leases for farmland and kind of along those lines. That was really interesting and really fun, and really enjoyed that. That was more nationwide, so we got to see properties all the way from Washington State to Southern Illinois ground. So I learned a lot about different forms of agriculture during that job
So
too.
there's things out there besides soybeans, corn, and wheat.
There are. Who knew?
Yeah, and then you actually so you went to work in for another company after that, doing commodities or something, or what's that?
Yeah, so then I also worked for Farmers Business Network for a while. So I was in their data department. So I did a lot of data analytics on seed prices, chemical prices. A lot of sustainability programs have been huge in the last couple of years. So did a lot of data input for some big names, sustainability programs. There's the word. So yeah, a lot of data in that one.
Right. So that was like I say, and we're talking about data, farm data, and like I say, information about the crops that are in them, the maps that go along with it.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of mapping. Yep.
A lot of mapping. So that's that seems to be more and more going on, and it's with the carbon and as far as the renewables.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's increased a lot in the last few years.
Yep. And then, so that's one of those things for us here at Property Peddler. I mean, we're so excited to have Courtney working along with side of us to bring the experience that she's brought, that she's had, and bringing it to us and helping us grow our business and take our business into the future also. So that is one of those things that whenever we looked at her background, we thought you guys would be interested in her background too, so that whenever you do actually communicate with her, you'll know what's really kind of going on and what the background is here. It's not just the pretty face that she has.
Well, that was awfully nice of you.
So that's so basically so with down the real estate journey, is that one of those things that I mean, curiosity, how did you choose Property Peddler, or why did you choose Property Peddler?
Yeah, so I mean, I've heard about you guys a lot. You guys do a lot of land auctions, and I kind of followed those here in the Southern Illinois area. But actually, one of my friend's moms was a realtor, and she told me, she's like, who you need to reach out to is Brenda. She was like, she does real estate and she does ag, and she's probably the best. So you need to reach out to her. So I did. Nice. And now here we are.
Well, that was kind. That was awful nice of them. So yeah.
That's the experience that Brenda brings, Brenda brings to the company and all of this. I mean, whenever you look at it, and like I say, it is over that 20 years of experience in the ag real estate. There's been a lot of things that have changed from where that is. A couple of those that a couple of downturns, but a couple of those real big upticks. So that's one of those that show. I think that she was right. I do agree that that the experience that Brenda brings to the ag real estate is huge for us.
That was kind. Well, I look forward for you to help on these auctions. I'm really excited about the paths that we're heading down. So definitely looking forward to doing more and learning more about you as we go along. So I think we're building a great team here. So as far as that goes.
The as far as with what we've got going on here is that how like I say, that's one of those, how do you keep going? That's the thing here. Okay, every day here we're looking at 4:30 in the morning. So you do get some Saturdays and Sundays off as far as that goes, but what is it that drives you and keeps you going for this to say, okay, 4:00? It's not, remember, now you're too young, but as far as old as it used to be, the time to make the donuts was the commercial whenever I was a child. It was one of those things but yeah.
Oh gosh. That's a tough question. I used to say I ran on ski, but I don't drink that anymore, so I can't use that line. I mean, I feel like growing up on the farm, there's always stuff to do. We never really ever sat around and watched TV, anything like that. So I'm just always constantly used to moving or having something to do and on to the next task. And my brain's just constantly thinking of how to do things better and looking forward. And I don't know, it's just, I don't know how to sit still. I don't know how to relax. I mean, that's probably the best way to put it, as I don't know how to relax. So I have to constantly be going. Even my husband jokes on our honeymoon. He was like, all right, we're going to sit down and we're going to relax. And I looked at him and I was like, how do you do that? So that was the whole goal on the honeymoon, was to teach me how to relax. Whether he succeeded or not, now we'll leave that up to him.
We'll leave that up to him. There you go. Or like I say, we'll see how the next 30, 40, 50 years work out and see if he actually is successful or not. So yeah. But so looking at it as far as that with where we're at is saying, okay, that's what's a short-term goal that you have for your meat business?
I would say short term, probably here within the next year, I'd like to ship to at least half of the states here in the U.S. It's kind of my short term goal. So long term, I'd like to be able to ship to at least the 48 that are, I don't know about Hawaii and Alaska. That might be a little difficult to get it there on time. But yeah, at least to ship to at least half the states here in the next year. My short term goal.
Well, there
That's
you
pretty
go.
neat.
That sounds exciting. So that's one of those things that they that get that fresh meat out to different places and let them enjoy what we raise right here in Southern Illinois.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, if there was something else out there that you think people should be aware of, you got anything to share as far as that goes?
About me?
Yeah.
Trying to think something else about me other than work.
I'm guessing you're an early morning person, so
Yeah, kind of, but I don't really know if I do stay out late sometimes too, so I don't really know what I am.
yeah.
Um,
What's your
yeah,
dream day off like?
a day off. Oh, I don't know what that's like either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do like to travel. I did get to go to Europe for the first time this year, kind of overseas. In college, I went down to Panama, so I got to see the Panama Canal, did a mission trip down there. So, do like to travel, see things around the world, see how other people live, and usually when I travel too, I end up finding something ag related. So when we were in Europe, I was scouting out all the dairy farms and the corn and everything like that. But then also and I would say this has a lot to do with farming too, I am pretty competitive, have a competitive side to me. I do like sports, so that I coached basketball for a while. I played sports my whole life, so I think that kind of carries on into, my work ethic and that type of thing too. But really big into sports and travel, and farming is kind of sums me up.
Well, we're glad that you're part of the Property Peddler team. We're glad that you've actually come on here and joined us for our Peddler Perspective, and we look forward to working with you for a long time into the future and seeing what other adventures that we can have.
Absolutely.
So, with everybody here from the Peddler Perspective, we'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you for joining us today on the Peddler Perspective. If today's episode sparked a thought, a smile, or new idea, share it with someone who'd enjoy the ride. Until next time, we'll be here working the land, serving our clients, and bringing you more stories worth hearing.